All right, Larry Kruger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video as we take a look at who really excelled at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. And of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Also, we're in Scottsdale, Arizona this week, and we are brought to you, our spring training trip is brought to you here by our friends at Claw Daddy Arcades, the ultimate destination for claw machine gaming and prize play, with 3 locations down in Southern California, plus spots in Fresno and Modesto, and a new location coming soon in the Bay Area. Claw Daddy Arcades is bringing family-friendly fun to communities right across the state of California. Whether you're a kid or just a kid at heart, Claw Daddy's prize pack machines are guaranteed to bring excitement and friendly competition. Follow them on Instagram at claw_daddy_arcades and find a location near you. And the NFL Scouting Combine wrapped up today in Indianapolis. And, you know, if you're looking for just kind of a full breakdown of of the combine, and we can go who did the best, who did the worst, that kind of thing. But really, you know, every good football scout, really, they're looking at different drills for different position groups. You know, the 40, your bench, somebody asked me, is the bench press important? It's important if you're a defensive tackle. It's not important if you're a quarterback. So, is a 40 time important? Well, you know what? It's important if you're a corner. It's important if you're a wide receiver, but it's not important if you're a lineman. Oh, this offensive lineman ran his 40, and okay, but tell me who's good in the 10-yard split. So let's go through and we'll take different drills at the combine and, by position, and we'll just go through and talk about the best 2 or 3 guys at each spot. All right, we'll start with cornerbacks. If you're an NFL corner, you have to be able to run stride for stride with NFL receivers. NFL receivers can run 4.3, sometimes faster. So the 40 time does matter. And the 3 or 4 guys you really had to look at in this week's combine, Maxwell Hairston from the University of Kentucky ran 4.28. And if he was just a track guy, but he wasn't a good football player, it'd be one thing, but he's a damn good football player. Really good in the All-Star game, really good in the regular season. Maxwell Hairston's a terrific player. Had a great year for Kentucky, looked phenomenal at the Senior Bowl, and then followed it up with a 4.28 40. So absolutely he stood out. Jahdae Barron from the Thorpe Award winner from the University of Texas. This guy ran 4.39. And, why is that? I mean, there's faster times. We just told you Hairston's faster, but Barron is so physical, so incredibly physical and tough. So not only is he fast at 4.39, but he's physical and he's tough. Jacob Parrish from K-State, another guy, very physical corner at 5'10", 185 pounds. He ran 4.36. So he's cooking. He's absolutely big time fast. And as far as the safeties go, I mean, Eman Worry for South Carolina stole the show. 43-inch vertical at 220 pounds on a 6'3 plus frame. An incredible 40. I mean, Eman Worry is a spectacular athlete. He's in a category all himself. But if you're looking for a safety, you're also looking for 40 times and athleticism, big-time athletic traits. And the guy who I loved his film, and then I thought he looked great in the combine, was Mac McWilliams from Central Florida. He ran a 4.41, but he's uber athletic, really athletic player, and really looked good in the drills. So there you go. That's corner and safety. Now let's move on to defensive tackle. What is the testing? What is the test that highlights defensive tackles? Bench press. A lot of times you got to be able to. Your upper body strength matters quite a bit. You can't be a weak upper body defensive tackle. You need to have a base, which is a strong legs and be able to anchor, but you also have to have really strong upper body. And Jordan Phillips from Maryland had 29 reps of 225. Darius Alexander from Toledo, who really an outstanding prospect, had 28. And another guy who I'm absolutely hugely high on is Eric Gregory, the defensive tackle from Arkansas. A lot of people think he's going late on day 3. Well, he had 28 reps of 225, second best number of anybody at the combine this week. So great workouts for Eric Gregory. All right, let's move to the offensive line. The offensive line, the bench press is big, but to me, it's more about the 10-yard shuttle. The 10-yard shuttle, the 40-yard dash doesn't mean as much, but the 10-yard shuttle means an awful lot. And Josh Connerly of Oregon had a 171 10-yard split, well over 300 pounds, big-time athlete, showed his movement ability. He's impressive. 171. Jared Wilson, the center for the Georgia Bulldogs, had the second best number at 172. He ran 4.84 in the 40, which was number 1. But Jared Wilson had a 172 10-yard split in the shuttle. And then Armand Membou, I should say, the offensive guard / right tackle for Missouri, he ran a 174 10-yard split en route to a 4.91 40. So 4.91 seconds in the 40. He also had a 9.7 broad jump, which was number 1 in the class among offensive linemen. So Membou looks really, really good, and I thought his workouts were impressive. As far as edge rushers go, now some people like to look at the 40 time for edge rushers. I like to look at the jumps, either the vertical or the broad jump. And Landon Jackson of Arkansas had a 40.5-inch vertical. I mean, and if you watch the film, he's got all kinds of lower body explosion. We're talking about a guy who's 273 pounds, and he had a 40.5-inch vertical. Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M. One of the traits that I'm looking for in an elite rusher is just your entire, power. Your power in your legs and your get off as a football player, as a defensive end, defensive lineman means so much. Shamar Stewart had a 40-inch vertical. And then at nearly 270 pounds, he ran 4.59 in the 40. And then he had a 10-foot, 11-inch broad jump, which was number 1. So, I mean, Stewart really jumped like a star. And I know he only has 4.5 sacks in his career, but that lower body explosion tells me he's going to be really good at the next level. Another guy that the Niners are heavily rumored to be interested in is Oluwafemi Oladejo, the former Cal Bear stack linebacker, who played the defensive end spot for UCLA this year. And all Oladejo did in this combine was jump 36.5 on the vertical, which is a great number. And then he put up 20 reps of 225, showing that he's done the work in the weight room to get stronger. Oladejo is really exciting because he's productive. He's a tone-setting player. He hasn't played defensive end for very long. He was a stack backer. He's got all kinds of upward, potential down the road, all kinds of upside. And then 36.5 vertical shows that he's got lower body explosion. And then 20 reps at 225 shows that he's done a lot of work in the weight room and he's strong. So, there you go. If you're looking for edge rushers, check out the verticals and the broad jumps. All right. If you're looking for a linebacker, what's the trait? Now, a lot of people like looking at the 40 time, and I do understand that. But to me, it's also about, do you have a good 40 and do you have a good 10? I want to see both the 10-yard. I want to see you both excel in the 10-yard shuttle and the 40-yard dash. I want you to show that you've got that long speed to potentially cover a fast athlete in open spaces, but I also want to see what kind of quickness you have inside of a 10-yard box. For most linebackers, they're going to run less than 10 yards on most plays. So I want to see that 10-yard split, but then I also want to see an adjacent 40 time that's also really exciting. So the 3 guys that stood out to me this week, Eugene Asante, who just plays with his hair on fire, the Auburn linebacker. He had a 1.52 10-yard split, which is just absolutely blazing. And he ran his 40 under sub 4.5. He was 4.48 in his 40. So Eugene Asante, who's very productive, very good football player. Not only that, he had a great 10-yard split, and he had an equally great 40. Nick Martin from Oak State, 154, only slightly worse on the 10-yard split, and he's got a 40 time of 4.53. I love what I've seen out of Nick Martin from Oklahoma State. And a third guy who's just a really, really productive player, but I think most people thought late round special teamer is Mark Bruner's kid, Carson Bruner. Mark Bruner played tight end for the UW Huskies back in the day. Well, his son, Carson Bruner, it was productive as hell for UW this year, and he had a 157 10-yard split, and he had a 4.58 40-yard dash. I mean, this guy is absolutely a tackling machine. The 49ers have already met with Bruner. I would not be surprised if they drafted him, but you know what? They're going to have to use a higher pick to get it done now, because I think they could have gotten him in the 6th or 7th round, before the combine. But now that he's run 157 in the 10-yard split and 4.58 in the 40, I mean, those are big time numbers. When you match it with his production, he could be a 3rd-round pick. He still probably falls to day 3, but man, there's a chance he goes in the 3rd round. All right, how about tight end? People say, what is the skill that you're looking for? What's the test at the combine that you look for in the tight ends? Well, I like to see the tight end drills, how well they catch the ball. But the one that I really like is the 10-yard split. Once again, how quickly do you get off the ball and get downfield? Now, it's interesting. There were a number of tight ends who, like Mitchell Evans is one of my favorite tight ends, the Notre Dame tight end. He had the best 10-yard split of any tight end at 1.55 seconds. He only has 6 career touchdowns, but he's got very good hands, and he had an incredible 10-yard split. Then there's Jackson Hawes, who started at Yale, transferred to Georgia Tech. He's got a 1.56 10-yard split. But if you look at his career, for his year, he had 16 receptions on the year and no touchdowns this year. Maybe the most underrated tight end, and a guy that I've got to go study his film a little bit more, is the Alabama kid, C.J. Dupre. He had a 1.56 10-yard split, which is really good. He ran his 40 in 4.69 seconds, which is not terrible, but it's not overwhelming. But he also was incredibly strong. He had 32 reps of 225. That was the most by far, by 10, I believe, of any other tight end. So Dupre, who's 6'5", 262 pounds, I watch tons of Alabama football, and I don't really see him do much. This guy's got 3 career touchdowns, but he's strong, 32 reps at 225. He's fast, 1.56 in the 10-yard split, 4.69 in the 40. He's got good size at 6'5", 262. But then that's a guy I got to go back and look at his film. Now, to me, what cuts across this is if you have somebody who has a great 10-yard split at tight end, but they also have incredible production. And that guy's Harold Fannin from Bowling Green. He had a 1.56 10-yard split, second only to Mitchell Evans, but he also had 22 career touchdowns for Bowling Green. So he's been a very, very productive player. And so I would give Harold Fannin Jr. The slight edge there. At wide receiver, you're looking for 40 times. And the 3 guys that really jumped out, Matthew Golden ran 4.29. People are saying that he's going to be the first wide receiver taken over Tedoroa McMillan and Luther Burden, which is an amazing accomplishment for Golden because nobody said that going into the combine. Jordan Watkins from Ole Miss ran a 4.37. He's a very productive wide receiver. To me, that makes him an exciting day 3 prospect. And then I would say the guy that he jumped the most in my mind in the last couple of days at the combine is Dante Thornton from Tennessee. Big kid, 6'4", 215 pounds. He ran 4.30. That's right, 4.3 flat for Dante Thornton. He's super athletic. Really, really intriguing prospect. The Niners have Juwan Jennings, but man, if you could use a day 3 pick on Dante Thornton out of Tennessee, you probably should. He absolutely was incredible in this combine, and to me, he's going to be a fun guy to watch for, to see where he goes in the draft. At running back, what's the big stat for running back? I like guys who get up the field, man. Give me the 10-yard split. Give me the 10-yard split. 40's great. You know, I'd love to see a fast 40, but I need a fast 10-yard split. There's no such thing as a great running back that doesn't get off the ball. You got to get off the ball. You know, you got to hit the hole. You know, for every Le'Veon Bell who dances and dances effectively at the line of scrimmage, everybody else has got to hit the hole. Bashul Tutin from Vatek had a 1.49 10-yard split, best of all the running backs, and he runs in the 4.3s. He's also an excellent return man. Watch that Vatek Hokie, Bashul Tutin. He's definitely worth watching. Two other guys I'm really excited about. Trevor Etienne from Georgia ran a 1.51 10-yard split. And you see that, man, when you watch Etienne, he is just so unbelievably quick. So quick. He's going to be a problem. He is going to be a problem for defenses to corral because his quickness is just off the charts. He's really, really fun to watch. There's more productive backs, there's stronger backs, but the quickness of Etienne is really special, and he had a 1.51 10-yard split. The other one is one of my favorite backs in the draft, and, you know, a lot of people really like Travion Henderson, and I love Travion Henderson, but I would love Quinshon Judkins, the Ole Miss transfer, more. And Judkins showed today 1.51 on the 10-yard split. So very fast, second best only to Tutin of Vatek. Quinshon Judkins hits the hole hard with energy, balance, fury. I mean, he brings it, man. He brings it. And to me, this 1.51 pushes him in front of Travion Henderson and a few other players. I love Judkins, man. You can hand him the ball anywhere, and he is going to fight. He is going to claw. He's going to give you maximum effort. So I love that about him. And his 10-yard split was fantastic at 1.51. And the last thought from the combine is that, what about quarterback? What's big on quarterback? Well, you got to see the guys throw. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, Saturday, today was the day the quarterbacks threw. And the quarterback that I saw throw the ball well was Brady Cook, the St. Louis kid who went to Missouri. Now, there's just a lot to like with Brady Cook. And, you know, I can make an argument that there's a lot of, you know, I want a quarterback that's got a good, you know, 10-yard split like Brock Purdy. Why? Because Brock Purdy's got a 1.54 10-yard split, and you can see him spurt away from defenders with that 1.54 10-yard split. So the 10-yard split's big. Well, guess who had the number one 10-yard split among all quarterbacks at the combine? That's right, Brady Cook, Missouri. Number one in the 10-yard split, beat Brock Purdy by a tenth of a second or 1/100th of a second. 1.53. Purdy was 1.54. Brady Cook 1.53 at 6'2", about 217 pounds. So number one in the 40. How about the 10-yard split? Number one in the 10-yard split. He ran a 40 at 4.59. So he ran a 4.59 40, best among quarterbacks. He had a 1.53 10-yard split, best among quarterbacks. He had a 37-inch vertical. 37-inch vertical, number one among all quarterbacks. It wasn't just number one. It was number one by 5 inches. Tyler Shugg from Louisville had the second best vertical. He was 32 inches. Brady Cook beat the number 2 vertical jumper by 5 inches. I mean, that's unheard of. Who had the number 1 broad jump? Brady Cook, 10 feet, 8 inches, by far, over Shugg. In fact, the broad jump that Brady Cook had of 10.8 was better than Shugg's by a foot. He had a better broad jump by a complete foot. 3-cone drill, 7.01, number one amongst all quarterbacks, Brady Cook. 20-yard shuttle, 4.17, number one of all quarterbacks at the combine, Brady Cook. This guy played in the SEC. He played hurt. He was carted off in a game and came back in and won it. He's a great leader. He's incredibly experienced. He's a film junkie. He's smart. He's gritty. Over 8,500 passing yards, over 1,100 rushing yards. This guy beat Iowa in the Music City Bowl. Was impressive doing it. Won the MVP of the bowl game the year prior. I'm telling you, man, that's the quarterback to watch. Now, is he going in the first round? No. Is he going in the second round? No. Is he going in the third round? No. He's a day three guy. Day three guy. But Brady Cook checks. While, I mentioned who running backs who check the 10-yard split box. It's Bashal Tutin. It's, Travis Etienne. It's Quinshon Judkins. For Brady Cook, you can just throw out all the tests because he was number one across the board. That's my guy right there, Brady Cook. I mean, think about how explosive Brock Purdy is when he's trying to get away from defenders. Brady Cook's faster in the 10-yard split. 154 for Brock, 153 for Brady Cook. So does he have the biggest arm of all time? No. Is he the highest rated quarterback you've ever seen? No. Is he the highest rated quarterback of the year of this draft class? No. But what he is a veteran. He's played a lot. Football's important to him. He's a leader. I mean, I've seen some of his teammates talk about this guy in such reverence. I mean, they just hold him in such high regard. Brady Cook. I mean, Brady freaking Cook. The Niners need Brady Cook in the 7th round. Bring that guy to camp. That guy's impressive for sure. All right, there you go. There is our breakdown from the combine. What drills are important for what players and who excelled at those drills. And of course, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Also, thanks to Claw Daddy Arcades for being a sponsor of the Krug Show's trip to Scottsdale. And then, of course, LearnKey's Upskill Academy. The show is also sponsored. This video is sponsored also by LearnKey's Upskill Academy, an online learning platform designed to get you job ready in 6 months or less. Whether you're interested in IT, cybersecurity, marketing, or another high-demand field, they offer over 30 certification programs to help you take the next step in your career. So we want to help all of our friends and all of our community be the best people they can be. And if you're between jobs and you need just a lift or a little bit more training, man, check them out. And the link is in the description on all of our sponsors. Thanks to all of them. Thanks to all of you. Thanks for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.